here from hustleandguru.com, and I'm just talking to you about mistakes to avoid when starting your side hustle. So we've covered a few different ones already, and today I just really wanted to talk to you about some of the mistakes that you could potentially make when working with your actual clients. So one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was not making sure that the client that I was working with was payment verified. So if you're not familiar with my story, I started out on Upwork as a freelance writer. And back then they were called Odesk, and they had a slightly different policy for hourly jobs versus a fixed price job. And this particular job was for a fixed price contract. And because the client wasn't payment verified, and I had no idea about this, I was really bad and didn't read any of the terms of service or anything like that. I just jumped straight in. And basically, what it means is that if a client isn't payment verified, it's two things really. One is that they can't grab the money from the client, and the other thing is that there is no guarantee of payment. So if you're working on a site like Upwork or Freelancer, any of the sites where you're finding freelance clients, then make sure that they are payment verified, that they have the ability to pay you. And then also just make sure you check the terms of service to make sure that you're covered, so that you've got a guaranteed cover regardless. So Upwork now has a guarantee in place that if you work an hour and you can prove that you've worked an hour through their team viewer, so that's tracking your time, then they will guarantee that you will be paid. Now, when it's a fixed price contract, it's slightly different, but basically now what they do is when a client starts a fixed price contract, they take the money off them immediately and it goes into escrow and is held by Upwork. So if there are any issues, they have the ability to release payments to you if there is any disagreements, but it still can be up to the client to still pay you based on the terms of the contract. So whether they're happy with the work that you've done, they can still hold those fees back. Even though they're sitting with Upwork, they still get to have the decision to release them. So just be really careful when you're working on these platforms that you make sure that a client is payment verified. Otherwise, you could see yourself out of pocket, like I was, in excess of $900 US. So I done the whole job, returned the job back to the client, and then didn't hear anything for a few days and thought it was really weird that I hadn't heard from them. So probably a week went by, and that's when I made the call to Upwork to say, hey, I haven't heard from the client, I've delivered the work and I haven't been paid. And the guy was really lovely on the phone. You know, he went back through and to see if there was anything that they could do, but unfortunately, because the client had never gone through the payment verification process, there was no way that they could collect the funds. All that they could do was block the client and close their account, which is exactly what they did. So I had that happen to me just a month into starting out as a freelance writer. Almost quit, but decided that I would continue moving forward, and I've never made that mistake again, and I've never had any issues because I've always made sure that someone is payment verified. So I hope that helps, and if you've got any questions at all, you know what to do. Comments below. Cheers.